Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It is Talk Tuesday. It is Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025. Come on in, come on in. Y'all know the routine. Come on in, say hello, let me know that you are here. I have my regulars coming in. I have some new viewers for Talk Tuesday. Come on in, it's Talk Tuesday. And you know what Talk Tuesday is? Talk Tuesday is conversations of inspiration, motivation, and empowerment. So, whether you are an author, entrepreneur, you have a testimony, or you want to share your journey, you're welcome to Talk Tuesday. Come on in and share this live. Share this live. We are on Facebook Live and we are also on YouTube Live. So I just put up a post and it does have the YouTube link. So you can go to that post and click on the YouTube link. It's on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and we'll be on Instagram Live pretty soon. Come on in, y'all. How y'all doing? I hope you had a good day, a good morning, or a good evening, wherever you may be in this world, because we have viewers all over that come in and join us on Talk Tuesday. So thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight, listen, it's an important Talk Tuesday, right? I'm excited to have a new guest on Talk Tuesday. And the topics that we're going to be talking to tonight, about tonight, is very, very important. We hope you can learn. We hope that you'll take in the information that my guest is going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to be talking about some health matters. We have a doctor in the house. She's my sister in Christ as well. We attend the same church. And so very proud of her. And so listen, this is an important Talk Tuesday tonight. So come on in, say hello, let me know that you are here. All are welcome. Come on in and importantly share this live. It's an important Talk Tuesday tonight. I'm excited to talk to my guest tonight, and I hope you will be too. Let me just say it now. We have certain topics, health matter topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. Not all health matter topics, but we chose some topics that we're going to talk about tonight. And so we do welcome you to put some questions in the comment. I'm going to say this now. I welcome you as well. After Talk Tuesday is over, we're only on for an hour. If you would like to contact my guest separately, you can send her a DM. I'll put her Facebook up. Now, don't bombard her DMs, okay? But she said it's okay. So, whatever we don't go over tonight, if you have some additional questions, you can send my guest a DM. Well, listen, let me introduce my guest. And again, she's my sister in Christ. She's a friend. And her name is Dr. Renata Gilliard. I just want to read some accolades and about her background. And so, what it is, somebody sending me messages. I can't answer, y'all. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm on Talk Tuesday. So again, let me just say you can go on my page and you can click in the YouTube link and that will take you straight to YouTube. So welcome to everybody on YouTube. But let me just introduce my guest. Her name is Renata Gilliard. Just want to give a little background. um, she became an LPN at the age of 18 at Maryville High School. Yay, Mustangs. She obtained her Associates of Arts degree in nursing from the Community College of Baltimore. She got a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree from the University of Maryland School of Nursing. She has a Master of Science degree in nursing with a focus on nursing education from Towson University. And lastly, she's a Doctor of Nursing Practice, adult gerontology primary care nurse practitioner, track from the University of Maryland School of Nursing. That's a lot of nursing, right? So without further ado, let me get my guest and bring her on tonight.
Hi.
Welcome to Talk Tuesday. We're so
Thank
glad that
you.
you're here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you're welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Renata Gilliard. Everybody, Talk Tuesday.
Hello.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, taking time out to come on Talk Tuesday. Again, everybody, it's just an hour show, and I had pulled up Renata at church one Sunday. I was like, Renata, can you come on Talk Tuesday? And listen, immediately she said yes. And so I want to thank you for that,
Oh,
for
you're
coming on and
welcome.
just listen, helping us out here, okay?
You're
And
welcome.
so
Thanks for
again,
having me.
I read so much about your background, your nursing background. 38 years of nursing experience. 38 years. That's a lot of school.
Yes, it is.
That is a lot of school. I first want to ask, I want you to introduce yourself to everybody. Just tell us a little bit briefly about yourself. Just a few things, where you from, just a
Oh,
little bit.
okay. Well, I'm born and raised in Baltimore. I am married to a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. And together we have 5 children
Hmm.
and we have 3 grandsons. No girls, I'm waiting for a little girl. And I'm a workaholic. I wish I wasn't. I'm trying to change that.
Uh-huh.
In my spare time, I like to do scrapbooking, but I don't really have any spare time. But I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah, yeah, you have to. Because
Yes,
some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, right? You know how we got to follow our own advice, right?
exactly.
So again, you've been, your nursing background is 38 years. I do want to
Mhm.
ask, like, what made you want to get into the medical field? I know you started at in high school being an LPN,
Yeah.
but what was like your motivation to
I
get into nursing?
honestly don't know. I mean, my mother said that I started saying I wanted to be a nurse when I was 4 years old.
Ah, wow.
And I never changed that. I do know that I love people. I'm a people
Mm-hmm.
person. And I love helping people. I mean,
Mm.
just any little thing that I can do to help someone. And even with my students, it just makes me, it gives me a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love what I do.
Mm. And again, I said I'm just keep going back. Like it's a lot of schooling, for nursing.
Mhm.
Was it challenging? Because it's like I read your bio a little bit with your nursing background. It's like one thing, then the next thing, then the next thing. Was it ever a time like, oh my gosh?
It was challenging. Like I said, I was an LPN at 18 years old, so I did it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time thereafter, I had I had my daughter
Mm-hmm.
when I went for my RN, and then when I went back for my bachelor's and my master's and my doctorate, my son was on board then, and then I'd
Mm.
also gotten married. So it was challenging, the work itself,
Yeah.
but also trying to juggle a family. And
Yeah.
I know my kids are like, she's been in school forever.
Right.
So I know they're glad that I guess I'm done. But I couldn't have done it
Uh-huh.
without my village, and especially
Yeah.
my doctorate degree. My
Yeah.
doctorate, like I said, my husband, he is Job on earth. He never complained, not one
Wow.
time, not once. And like my daughter Linnea, she is like my rock. My son David, he is encouraging. My best
Yeah.
friends, I have Lisa and Anita and Susan. They were
Yeah.
always there. And I mean, my coworkers at Towson,
Mhm.
everyone just, I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This doctoral degree, I could not have done.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing, like you said, when you have that village, that supports, it's
Mhm.
important. You up late nights, hubby. I'm quite sure you up late nights in those books and
Yeah.
and so find me one because I'm looking for. No, okay.
And look, even my mother is
Yeah.
like, she and my daughter are my biggest cheerleaders. She's always, are
Wow.
you getting rest? Did you eat? Are you sleeping? So
So let's get into what we're talking about. We had talked earlier when I first asked you to come on Talk Tuesday, and I
mhm.
was like, "Whoa, what do we, what do we talk about? What topics do we, address?" And I think the topics that we chose is really, of course, it's some major topics, but it is something that we all suffer with or we're struggling with. And so, guys, on Talk Tuesday. Again, Renata and I came up with some topics that we wanted to talk about. And so those topics are we're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about diabetes. We're going to talk about cardiovascular health. We're going to talk about the importance of checkups, okay, which is associated with preventive health. And so these are the topics that we chose to talk about tonight. And, we only have an hour, so we're just going to touch on a few of them and hopefully can help you all. Again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. Again, even after the show, she gave y'all permission, okay? So
Mhm.
after the show, if you want to, if you don't want to ask here, you can send her a DM. I will post her Facebook again. This is her Facebook. You can go on her Facebook and you can just send her a DM and ask her. Don't overload, y'all. Okay.
And I'll try to respond as soon as possible, but
Okay.
tonight I'll be doing the
You're
head
working woman.
shaking.
You busy, busy, busy. And so again, tonight we wanted to just talk about a few topics tonight again. So I want to start with something. Oh gosh. I want to start with talking about stress. And I think like it's like it's a natural human response, stress, right? And I think
Yeah.
we often do struggle with some type of stress in any particular experience or situation. Like stress, I do want to ask, how can we control stress, and what do you think of causes of stress? But what I want to ask you first of all, what medical issues um relates to stress, or what can cause, what are some
Right.
things?
Well, stress, the biggest thing out that always comes to mind for me is the heart. You
Okay.
stressed out, that can lead to heart disease, heart attack,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hypertension. So even though people be like, oh, well, I'm stressed and I'll deal with it and things will work out, you still have to have like an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Because stressors, we face stressors daily, our
Okay.
job,
Yes. Yeah.
families,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to have some type of way to control them because, like I said, weight, well, I didn't say, but weight gain, stress
Mm.
eaters. You have persons who are stressed, so they're going to eat. Next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
they picked up 5 pounds, and that 5 pounds is turned to 10, and it keeps climbing. Then we know with that, that can predispose you to diabetes and stuff. So, really having some type of outlet is
Okay.
important, whether it's a best friend or confidant. And even then, you want to make sure you're not putting too much on them because we all have
Mm-hmm.
stressors.
Mm-hmm.
People think of, oh, therapy. I'm not going to therapy. I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy is, you can also have a talk therapist. You can have someone who's not biased and who can relate to what you're going through or help you seek, different avenues of how to channel your stress. So it's not saying, oh, you're crazy. It can
Mm-hmm.
also lead to stress, can lead to sleep disturbances. A lot of people say they wake up at night with so much on their mind, and then lack of sleep can lead to other.
Mm. We
So
do we do have our first question. It says, does stress cause elevated heart rate?
yes,
Mm.
elevated heart rate, known as tachycardia,
Mm. Okay.
can be problematic if it's consistent.
Okay.
You don't want your heart rate, normal heart rate for an adult, depending on their, if they work out, depending on their weight and so forth, can range anywhere from 60 to like 90. But when you're
Mm.
talking about having a heart rate at rest, you're just sitting watching television and it's nothing
Mm-hmm.
scary, and your heart rate is 130 and 135 and up, then you start to, something should be done because that should not be that high
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Once, okay, but every time you turn around, especially like if you can monitor it on a Fitbit or a smartwatch or so
Mhm.
forth. And it shouldn't be. Yeah, that's not good.
Now, also too, I had to do my reading, y'all. So, and I was reading that, of course, we know stress can take control of your mind, but also your body, right?
Right.
Now, would you say that stress can cause strokes as well?
It can lead to strokes because
Mhm.
an elevated blood pressure,
Mhm.
consistent that pressure buildup can
Mhm.
lead to a stroke. And I'm going to try to leave this in as lay terms as I can without going all in the woods with
Yeah.
medical jargon. But basically, that elevated blood pressure can cause damage, creating pressure within and leading to a
Mhm.
stroke.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. Listen, I hope everybody, I mean, you can take your notes. Normally I take notes too here, because I think this information is very, very important. Now I told you I have a friend who want to ask some questions here, but this could be some good question. And this is where I don't know, but maybe you do. She said, does a PFO or right to left shunt cause elevated heart rate? Does it cause a stroke?
So people out there in Facebook land, is she talking about a patent foramen ovale?
Yeah, I said, Angie, is that what you're talking about, honey? You said PFO. She didn't answer yet,
Yeah,
but
but well, any
that
cardiac condition, and that's why like they have
she
certain
said yes. Mm-hmm.
congenital heart defects that children are born with. The
Mm,
heart, like I explain to my students, is like
mm-hmm.
the car's engine. It's the engine for our body. So anytime you have a shunting of blood and um, incompetent valves, those things keep the heart from pumping blood to the lungs and getting the blood back from the lungs and pumping it to the body as it should.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime there is a cardiac condition,
Mm-hmm.
that can create other issues. It can create peripheral vascular disease. It can create
Mm,
just so much. So
mm-hmm.
anything is possible when your heart isn't doing its job, when that
Not what it's
engine
supposed to.
isn't
Mm-hmm.
functioning as it should
Mm-hmm.
to keep the car, keep the body
Mm-hmm.
running. Hmm.
Angie, thank you for your question, honey. I know you're gonna have more. But again, guys, I have Dr. Renata Gilliard on, and again, we're just we picked a few topics that we wanted to talk about tonight, and so she rolling, y'all, okay?
Well, one of the
So
things,
listen, thank you for all that schooling.
let me tell you though, something about stress that I
Yeah.
find, and I need to practice what I preach. If I'm gonna talk the talk, I need to walk
Yeah.
the walk because I stay stressed. But one of the things that we all need to do is set realistic, attainable goals for ourselves.
Okay.
Because often, especially women, oh, well, I need to do this and I need to do this and I need to make sure this and then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
tackle one thing at a time, one
Okay.
day at a time, one
Yeah.
hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Because when we
Mm-hmm.
start looking, oh, I need to do this and this needs to be done, that's when we start getting the wheels are turning and we're
Mm-hmm.
like, how am I going to do this? Set realistic
Mm-hmm.
goals that we can attain, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just and find a hobby, an outlet. Like I said, I need to start my one of my best friends, Lisa, and I, we do scrapbooking together. And we used to
Yeah.
do it a lot before I
Mm-hmm.
started graduate school. But now I'm out, we need to
Mm-hmm.
get back to it because that is a release for me. That
Yeah. You know,
and we all need something like that.
and I'm an ostomy, so I talk to a lot of people in the ostomy community because again, going through that whole ordeal, it does bring stress on top of our other medical issues.
Hmm.
And like you just said, I was telling them like kind of get back to what you used to do.
Yep.
Like if you used to like to read. If you like to just walk around a block, take some steps. They might not be, might not be walking around the block 5 times and maybe just one time, right? Just to relieve some of that stress, that tension. I like that, getting back to get a hobby.
Hmm.
Get a
Exactly.
hobby to relieve some of that stress.
And before
Um,
graduate school, I used to love to read. But after
Mm.
reading all those textbooks and all, I'm like, I'm not reading anything.
Uh-huh.
But a friend just wrote a book, and I just read her book, and
Yes.
it felt good to actually just sit there and read. So I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hold you accountable when I see you on Sunday at church. I'm gonna, Renata, what you read this week? But I think also too is, having an accountability partner, like you said, you and your friend, with the scrapbook, and sometimes we need an accountability partner to kind of keep us, you know. Somebody had younger women are being diagnosed with cancer. Can anxiety be a contributing factor to different types of cancer? If not, what are your thoughts for the uptick in cancer diagnosis in women under 30? I know it's a lot, but
Well, no, that's okay. One of the things now, I can't say whether anxiety causes cancer or not. In my opinion, because
mm-hmm,
I'm not a, medical
mm-hmm,
oncologist, but in my opinion, I mean, cancer, I feel like it can arise from a number of things, but I also feel like it's something that's there and
mm-hmm,
has just been lying dormant. I
mm-hmm,
feel like you could be the healthiest person and do everything right and not stressed and not anxious and not eat red
mm-hmm,
meat and can still develop cancer. That's just my personal belief that I feel like it's something that
mm-hmm,
has just been lying dormant and then manifest itself over time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And um, so to answer your question, I can't say if anxiety does cause it, but I am thinking that more younger people are being
Mm.
diagnosed because more younger people, I feel, are starting to take an active stance with their health.
Okay.
Going to the doctors, getting
Yes.
checkups. And
Mm-hmm.
that's part of what we'll talk about, today
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
checkups and
Yeah.
staying healthy. But I can say that it is important because oftentimes when a person starts having symptoms
Yes.
of a cancer,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much advanced. When
Mm.
symptoms start, like if you start having a productive cough where you're coughing up bloody sputum, or you start having severe, like with lung cancer or abdominal pain, and could be like
Mm-hmm.
a colon cancer or something. The
Mm-hmm.
cancer is already there and brewing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why screenings are important.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Angela, for that. I want us to move on, and this was something I had a guest on who has diabetes, and I was
mhm.
just reading from the American Diabetes Association. 38 million people is living with diabetes. And I was reading, which is a major cause, of course, of serious health complications, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Diabetes, let's talk about that a little bit. Again, it said it causes serious health complications. What are some complications?
Yeah,
And
people don't realize that diabetes affects the entire body. Every
mhm,
system of the body is affected by diabetes. So
mhm,
if you happen to have diabetes, like some people develop diabetes as a juvenile,
mhm,
called
mhm,
juvenile onset diabetes, or some of us get it later in life, and that's type 2. But diabetes can cause blindness,
mhm,
can mess up your kidneys, it
mhm,
can mess up your circulation,
mhm,
just so much stuff that people don't realize. And like, I had a friend who was near and dear to me who has passed, but
mhm,
his diabetes was not controlled. Always had a high A1C, and he
mhm,
started losing his sight. And then his kidneys pretty much shut down where he was getting dialysis. And
mhm,
then he eventually had passed, and he was young. He was only,
mhm,
I think, 54.
mhm.
So if you are even like pre-diabetic,
Yeah,
now,
that's what I want to talk. I was looking that up, and it was talking about how do you look for signs of
well,
pre-diabetes.
pre-diabetes, well, we have three classic symptoms that tell us you need to get that checked out. You could
Mhm,
possibly be diabetic. That's excessive thirst,
mhm,
excessive urination,
mhm,
and excessive hunger.
mm,
Now, pre-diabetes, I'm pre-diabetic, and so is my husband. We
Mhm.
got to do better. I know. But was diagnosed by primary care.
Okay.
And my biggest thing is weight. And I love
Uh,
to eat junk.
mm,
So if you go to the doctors, and especially people over, now they're doing it definitely like over 30, over 40, just depends on how much your primary care is into preventive health. But they
mhm.
draw your A1C, that's the level of blood. It tells you how your blood sugar has been
Okay.
running over the past 90 days.
Mhm.
Normal A1C is less than 5.7. If you get
Mm,
into that 5.7 to 6.4 range, you now are considered as having pre-diabetes.
mm,
So things to do to get out of that,
mhm, mhm,
watch what you eat,
mm.
lose some weight, exercise. Exercise is a big one for me. But 30 minutes, 30 minutes of walking
Yeah. Yes.
5 days a week
Mhm. Mhm.
is good.
Mhm.
Even if you have to sit at your desk and just move your feet, just as long
Uh,
as you're doing some type of
mhm.
movement.
Mhm.
We have a building on campus that has real long hallways.
Mhm.
Sometimes I walk over there, but I figure walking from the parking garage is
Is
enough
enough.
for me. But no, seriously, we need to move.
I wanna ask why, and it's just it might be like a myth, but a lot of people associate like food with the food you're eating with diabetes. Oh, yeah,
Okay?
that's gonna cause diabetes. You know what I mean?
Well, like our older generation. Oh, you got sugar diabetes. You can't
Right.
eat all that
Yes.
sugar. But what they mean, especially those carbs,
Okay.
and you don't want to drink your sugar. People don't realize
So what
juices,
you mean by that?
juice,
Uh,
soda. My husband's pre-diabetic. His
don't be talking about.
he is. Jimmy loves soda. His
Mm-hmm.
doctor told him you need to leave the soda alone.
Wow.
Jimmy stopped drinking soda and lost 20 pounds
What? Just like soda alone?
because he loved Mountain Dew and Pepsi. So he
Mm.
still needs that fizz.
Yeah.
So he buys Sprite Zero or he drinks zero sugar Pepsi. And then
Mm.
there's also that device that will carbonate
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
beverages for people who like
Yeah.
that fizz.
Yeah.
But the carbs, when we eat those carbs, I always think of when you think of carbs, think anything white. Bread,
Mm-hmm.
mashed
Potatoes.
potatoes, rice,
Rice.
sugar. Leave it
Wow.
alone or decrease your amounts
Oh
a lot.
my gosh.
A lot.
Look, and it's so funny because I have one of my one great good friends on here, Angie. So we're both ostomates. But
Right.
oftentimes with us, we drink a lot of Coke because it helps move. Our insides is so different,
Yeah.
we wear ostomy bags. But she just said, Gerald, we need to stop drinking Coke.
Well, drink Coke Zero.
Mm,
And
hmm.
I am one, I'm like, oh no, that stuff has an aftertaste. I kid
Yeah,
you not. That zero sugar Pepsi,
yes.
that Coke, that Sprite Zero, and I think Jimmy has Coke Zero, or I do not taste an
Mm.
aftertaste.
Angie, did you hear that?
No, I do not.
Oh
Now,
my
let me
gosh.
though also caution, those what are they? I was drinking those waters, those flavor carbonated waters from
Yes, the
Walmart.
ice or
No, they're the Walmart brand, and they come in flavors like Fiji apple and white
uh
grape, and they taste so good. They taste just like soda. And I think
okay.
it's like a liter bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So I was drinking those because I need to drink more water. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, the artificial sweetener in it
Mm.
messed with my pancreatic enzymes. I
Oh
started having all
wow.
this abdominal pain and went to the doctor, and he said, I want you to go to the emergency room.
Really?
And when I got to the emergency room, they did a CAT scan. But
Uh-huh.
what happened when they drew my levels, my amylase and lipase levels for my pancreas, they
Mhm.
were sky high. So
Mm.
I left those alone
Oh
because
my.
I was drinking 2 and 3 of those a day. They taste just like soda. They are
Wow.
delicious.
Angie, don't go find it,
But
okay?
yeah, Angie, I don't think that's good for you, Angie.
My sister did say something, and she said, "What about Gatorades?"
Gatorades, I think they're good. I don't see any harm in drinking Gatorade.
And one of my other friends said she did stop drinking Coke. Now every now and then she'll have one. Yeah, we as optimists, I don't know this thing about Coca-Cola, but Angie, I will tell you I did slack up, honey.
I think it's the carbonation too that's helping things
Uh
move through your bowel. But try
yes.
just going to the store where they sell just the single sodas. You might pay $2.29 for one soda,
Mm-hmm.
but
I'm gonna
and
try
try
the
it
Coke Zero.
yeah, and see if you like it
Okay.
before you go
Okay.
out. Buying a case of it or a six pack.
Yeah.
Just and see
Yeah.
if you like it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, this is Dr. Renata Gilliard. We just choosing some topics tonight to talk about. And so it's been really, really good. We thank you for your questions. Please continue on with the questions. So we want to move on to the next thing. And Angie, I know you're going to have tons of questions, but that's what we're here for.
That's right,
Um,
Angie.
but we want to talk about cardiovascular health.
Yes,
Talk to
yes.
us a little bit. I know it pertains to, and I think, correct me, pertaining to the heart, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, stroke, and
Mhm,
heart disease.
mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Now, with those things, there's some things that we simply cannot control.
Okay.
When, let's say, our genes, for instance, and our race and our
Mhm.
gender, we can't
Okay.
control those. We can't control what's been handed down to us
Mm-hmm.
from before. I saw a meme that said, why couldn't my grandfather pass down some land and some money instead of diabetes? But we can control what we eat and
Yes.
the amount of exercise we get and the amount
Mm-hmm.
of rest and the stress. We can control those things.
Mm.
Those are what we call modifiable risk
Okay.
factors. We can change those and do something about it. Like I said,
Mhm.
the exercise.
Yes.
When we eat, try to avoid fried foods, have it baked instead.
Mm-hmm.
Those complex carbohydrates, eat a heart healthy diet. So we want to make sure that we eat fruits and vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and be active, lean proteins, no fatty meats. My problem, Lord forgive me, I love bacon. Oh, I love some bacon. I
A
can eat
lot of us
a pack
on
of
here
bacon.
like bacon.
So I've decided, I told Jimmy, don't fix any more bacon because I have no willpower. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to leave it alone completely,
Right,
but
right,
I'm going
right.
to go back to, I used to eat it once a month and I
Mm-hmm.
did well with that. Whereas lately, Jimmy's been fixing it like every other week or every
I'm gonna
week.
talk to him when I come to church and
Yeah,
tell.
please do. Yes, please
But
do.
don't you think that helps to like I've been slacking up with the Coke, the Coca-Cola and with things like that. Like gradually we gotta kind of wean
Exactly.
ourselves.
Because when you tell someone they cannot have it, avoid
Yeah.
it completely, that's when it makes it harder. So
Okay.
instead of saying you can't have that, you can't have salt anymore,
Mm-hmm.
minimize your salt. Start lowering the
Mm-hmm.
amount.
Mm-hmm.
Try Mrs. Dash. Try anything, or if you eat a lot of sweets. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna eat sweets every
Mm-hmm.
day this week. This week I may just do Monday and Wednesday. I
Mm-hmm.
may just treat myself on a Saturday with one cookie or two instead of eating
Mm-hmm.
a whole sleeve or a whole row of Oreos. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
just don't deprive yourself of it because that makes it harder.
Okay.
Gradually decrease, and sometimes you get to the point where you don't even want it anymore. You're like, you know what, I haven't had it and I'm fine without it.
Well, let me ask you with Jimmy, with the sodas, right? How did he kind of graduate? Was it just little by little, just kind of eat,
He just cut it.
Mm.
He just cut it. He
Mhm.
just he had all the soda. He gave them away, and he went into the store and bought it and said, "Oh, this tastes good." And I said, "Yeah, it does." So he got his fizz,
Mhm.
and he's not getting that sugar.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Presently, I have, which was given to me, this treadmill, which is up in my bedroom. And so I know
we
people
have
look at me,
clothes
Geraldine,
hanging on
you
it.
tall, you skinny, but I'm getting older. In a couple of years, I'll be 60, right? But when
Mhm.
you start feeling it, when you can't get out the bed as quick, or you know what I mean? And so
Yes.
I'm taking some steps, and I'm just doing a little bit,
Right.
I'm like 15 minutes, let me start there. And then I'll like gradually,
Mhm.
but I think we got to find that thing that we can kind of stick to.
Exactly.
If it's walking, okay, maybe increase the miles you walk, because I think,
Mhm.
and I say all that to say that, some of us trying to go cold turkey, or we just trying to go all out.
Right.
And guess
Yes.
what? It leads back up to the stress again,
Exactly.
you
And one
know.
of the things also, with the weight, like you got to keep your weight at a decent level within your
Okay.
BMI where you're considered normal weight, because being heavy puts excess work on your heart. Your heart has
Hmm.
to work harder, and we
Hmm.
got to protect this heart.
Yeah.
You have to protect it. And even with high blood pressure,
Mm,
they're even lowering, like they used to say, blood pressure 140 over 90. That's considered high blood pressure.
mm.
American Heart Association is now saying 130 over 80.
Oh,
They
wow.
lowered it so that we can do better with, that's considered like a
Hmm.
stricter or tighter
Hmm.
control. They lowered it to 130 over 80. So, okay, let's strive for this blood pressure instead of, 140 over 90. No, 130 over 80. So
Uh,
you need to exercise. You need to
okay.
watch your weight. And
Okay.
people, even with alcohol, people don't realize alcohol will put some pounds on you.
Ooh.
And it's okay, I'm just having one or two drinks, or consistently,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol will put the pounds on
Well,
you.
I had one of our Malcolm says, look up Minute Maid Zero Sugar. It has no sugars and it's 80% vitamin. He says he
Oh,
love it. Um,
okay, Minute Maid Zero Sugar. I'm gonna write that down.
yeah.
I like some
Look,
juice.
look, me and you writing it down.
Yes, Minute
I
Maid.
will. Angie has another. She says she had cervical surgery in January. In February, she suffered with life-threatening blood clots. In February, she said my blood pressure and heart rate still are not stable. I'm currently wearing a heart monitor for 2 weeks. Any suggestions to help get it regulated?
Um, so what she said, her blood pressure and her heart rate aren't stable.
Still are not stable. She's wearing a heart monitor for 2 weeks.
So is her heart rate consistently high? Blood pressure consistently high? Is she anemic? Is she still
Angie,
bleeding
you
heavy?
you hear Dr. Bernarda, let us know those answers.
Yeah, because if she's anemic, her primary care definitely wants to take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that comes from the heavy bleeding.
Mm. Let me see. Wait
Because
for
if
okay.
that's the case, then that is the culprit.
Yeah, yeah. We have someone else. He says, what is the weight for a male at 5'8"?
Well, that depends, because they're now more so going with the BMI. The
Mm.
BMI that is anything over 24.9 is considered overweight. So with the height, I know, wait a minute, I can write it down. It's in my brain. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How you can calculate your BMI is you take your weight in
Uh-huh.
kilograms and you divide that by your height in
Mm.
meters squared. I can write it, but I can't say
Right.
that. So normal BMI range is from 18.5 to 24.9.
Mm-hmm.
Anything over 24.9, you're considered overweight. And
Mm-hmm.
then if you go up above, like hitting 30,
Mm-hmm.
you're obese.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Angie says, with that answer, it said it changes with activity, but she says she's seeing her primary physician tomorrow.
Okay, good. Because she definitely needs to get that under control. And if they're not
Okay.
addressing any bleeding, they
Mm-hmm.
should be. And definitely, like, if she is anemic, take care of
Mm-hmm.
that.
All right,
Yeah.
Angie, you hear
So
that?
in reference to the gentleman that asked about his weight,
Wait. Mm-hmm.
um, I could sit here and calculate it, but I can't. um, Yeah, so he'd have to figure out his BMI. And actually, all he has to do is if he just Googles
Google.
what is the BMI for the normal weight for my height and put in the height. They have a BMI calculator. But a lot of primary care providers look at the BMI.
Okay.
And like my doctor, I am considered obese
Mm.
with my BMI. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But he wants it down in the normal range. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there, but
Right, right,
it's
right.
taking some work.
Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for the questions. Thank you so much. Dr. Renata is on it. Okay. So again, I thank her for coming on. Next thing we want to go to, and as I was reading these two things that we're going to talk about for our last segment, it kind of goes together, which is preventive health and the importance of checkups.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go together, and preventive health is maintaining health and preventing serious diseases before they occur. But how
Exactly.
can you do that when you're not going to your doctors or get a checkup? And I'm like, most people are not a do not go to the doctor until they get sick, and then they
Right.
have to go back for a follow-up,
Right.
right? Why do people not want to?
Well, that involves a lot. So first of
Yeah.
all, with preventive health, we do
Yeah.
that to prevent disease, disability, even death, right?
Mhm.
So back in the day with our parents, the thing was you get sick, you go seek care.
Mhm.
Now we want you to not get sick,
Mm.
just come to your doctor for a checkup. And
Mhm.
typically, if you have no health issues, that can be done once a year. Once a
Mhm.
year at an
Mhm.
annual checkup. But if
Mhm.
you don't, I've heard people say, well, I'm scared to go to the doctor because when I go to the doctor, they find this wrong. Okay, wouldn't you want to know that something is wrong so that
Yeah.
it can be addressed early on
Yeah.
instead of ignoring it? And then when you do go, it's out of control.
Mhm.
So then other people don't have insurance.
You're right. That's a big thing, I think,
And
too.
I tried to search for some places in the Baltimore County surrounding areas that
Mhm.
offered free health care. I do know that on the Baltimore City, I looked on, where did I looked up something. The Baltimore City, where did I looked up the Baltimore City Health Department.
Uh-huh.
And there's different places around the city that will see people, but the site, when I saw it, it hasn't been updated since 2020. So
Uh,
I'm not even sure if those things are still,
mhm.
but I
Mhm.
do know that if someone is really ill, any
Mhm.
hospital that's federally funded, not like one of the private hospitals, but they must see you and at least stabilize you.
Mm.
Um, and urgent care, I don't think is going to turn you away
Right,
if
right.
you don't have insurance or those like community health clinics, right?
Yes, yes.
But health prevention, health promotion, illness prevention, that's our goal.
Mm.
Maintain a healthy weight, manage your stress, eat right,
Mhm.
exercise. If you have insurance, take the first step. Make an
Mm.
appointment with your primary. Now, a lot of people be like, well, I can't get in there and see them until uh,
Right.
August.
Mhm.
Okay, make the appointment. The time is
Mhm.
going to go by whether you go or not. Now,
Yeah.
if you become sick with something really life threatening, you go to the
Mhm.
emergency room. If
Mhm.
you're sick with something that can't wait till then, go to an urgent care. But in the
Mm.
meantime, make the appointment. The time is going to go past, and before you know it, the time will be here.
Mhm. Mhm.
And get your labs drawn so they can see how your labs are looking, how your
Because you
blood
you talked you
glucose.
talked earlier about screening too.
Mhm.
Like it's just what type of screening are
Blood
we?
pressure screenings,
Okay.
mammogram, colonoscopy. If you have a history of colon cancer in your family, you want to
Mm.
get a colonoscopy. And I want to share something. And I don't think she would mind me sharing it. However, I'm not going to say her name, but I have
Okay.
a very, very, very close and dear friend. And
Mhm.
She had gotten sick in March with a cold.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime cold symptoms linger longer than 2 weeks, I tell people, you need to get that checked out. And she kept coughing. So she went to the emergency room and they did some imaging. They did a chest x-ray and they saw that she had a spot on her liver.
Mm-hmm.
So and they said, well, we'll treat you almost like you have a pneumonia and so forth. So, but to follow up with your primary care. So she followed up with the primary care ordered a CT scan, ordered a CAT scan of her liver, her abdomen and chest.
Mm-hmm.
She saw the spot on her liver and she saw nodules on her lungs.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. So she said, I want you to get a colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
She got the colonoscopy and she has stage 4 colon
Stage
cancer.
4. Wow.
No symptoms other than those cold symptoms.
Wow.
Stage 4 is the highest stage of it. It's from stage 1 to stage 4.
Yeah. Wow.
So within 3 weeks, she went from having a cold to being told she has spots on and a spot on her liver and the nodules on her lungs are where it has spread to.
Wow.
And so 3 weeks, cold symptoms, CAT scan, colonoscopy, started chemo. In 3 weeks. Now, that's not saying that she was not getting preventive care. I don't know. I didn't ask her that. This isn't the time, but regular checkups. And if you are healthy, that regular checkup will be annually. But it is so important.
Everybody listen, please.
It is. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Because that way they will draw your labs. Your blood work tells us
a lot.
A lot. Mm-hmm. It can tell us if you have an infection. It can tell us if something's wrong with your liver, your kidneys.
Yes.
If your electrolytes, like your sodium and your potassium, if they're off. They tell so much. Even if you have to save up money. Let's say you got to save some money. And save that money to go and have a doctor's appointment. I mean, or look at your income. You may be eligible for Medicaid, but your health is so important. And you got to take care of it.
I like one of our viewers, Melvin. Thank you all for these questions again. It was like, you can eat right, work out, but it all comes down to your family history. Because right now, my doctor has me on Repatha, Repatha, because of how his cholesterol is high, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, that's something that's been passed down from his family. And like I said, there are those conditions called non-modifiable factors that we cannot change it. We cannot change that we're Black.
Right.
And that we have a high incidence of hypertension and high cholesterol, but we can try to keep it at bay. We can do some things. Unfortunately, yes, he has to take medication because
he has
it was passed down to him. But that's that familial hyperlipidemia.
Yeah. Linnea said whether we deal with our health now or later, but one way or another, we have to deal with it. And I like that. I like that, Linnea. Linnea, that's the good friend. Okay, the good girlfriend. Thank you for joining.
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter. That's right. You did say that.
Lynnea. That's my baby.
Yes. Girl. Okay. But I like what she said. But one way or another, we have to deal with it. Do you think people? Do they oftentimes, I know you've been in this so long that they know something is wrong or something is going on, but they don't want to go see,
right?
Because again, we think in so many different things like, oh, it's this, it's cancer, is it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But again, when you talk about preventive health, the key to helping you stay healthy is like preventive health.
Yeah, like I said, that is the goal now of healthcare providers. Our goal is health promotion, illness prevention. We don't want you to get sick. So that's why we want you to get the checkups, to get the screening so that you don't get ill. And we don't have to treat it. Not that we're lazy, but we want you to be healthy.
Yeah.
We want you to live longer and
you
have to take the steps and be accountable for your own health.
This is a funny several years ago, maybe 5 years. So I've had the same OBGYN specialty doctor for probably over 30 years, right?
Mhm.
And so I was getting a surgery, and of course you got to get blood work tests, all that kind of stuff. He's like, Geraldine, I need you to go to your family doctor and just get some other things done. And I said to him, did you say family doctor? You've been my doctor for over 30 years. So I'm thinking, ain't you my family? It was so funny that I was like, aren't you my family doctor? And I do want to ask that, because I had to think of that, like, Geraldine, no, he's your specialty doctor. He's done several of my surgeries, but he was like, yeah, go see the family doctor. I'm like, what? But there is a difference than I guess, your surgery doctor and
Exactly.
why are we going to the family doctor? Like, I
Well,
guess, like, I was about to have a surgery. So,
right. So your family doctor or your PCP, your primary care
yeah.
provider,
Okay.
can do an overall, can, manage you overall. But
Okay.
let's say you're an asthmatic. If
Mm-hmm.
you are a severe asthmatic that it's getting to be a little unmanageable for your family doctor, then they will refer you to a specialist, a pulmonologist. If
Mm-hmm.
your diabetes can't be managed, it's more out of control, then you would be referred to an endocrinologist. So
Uh-huh.
the primary care or the family doctor is like the gatekeeper. They're keeping control of
Okay.
everything. And
Okay.
then if there's things that need more detailed
Yeah.
care, then they'll refer you out.
Yeah, because I was referred out. I was having some problems with bladder infection.
Hmm.
And then the family doctor was like, you need to go see a urologist. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wait a minute. What do you mean?
Yeah,
And I'm
because
just
then you
so,
need something more in depth where you need to see someone who's specializes in just
okay.
genital urinary or specializes in just the kidneys, like a nephrologist. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll, send you out. And but that primary, like I said, they're the gatekeeper.
Yeah, yeah. I found that out so many years later. Oh my gosh, I
Hmm.
felt so embarrassed. Like, he's like, Geraldine, no, I'm not you.
Don't be embarrassed. You don't be, because you'd be surprised. And then you actually have some primary care providers who also do GYN exams. So
Okay.
some people do go to their family doctor for everything.
Okay.
One of
Okay.
my preceptors and mentors, she's amazing. Um, she does GYN exams on her patients as well.
Okay.
Dr. Condogley in Silver Spring. She
We were talking a little bit. Everybody, thank you so much for your questions, and we appreciate you supporting tonight. We were talking before we came on, because I did or I didn't know that you're also a teacher.
Yes.
Oh
I
my gosh.
I teach, actually, teaching is my full time job. I teach nursing at Towson University, and I work PRN. I work 1 day as a week as a nurse practitioner at GBMC Padonia.
Y'all, that's a busy woman. Okay. We want to try to we thank you so much for that. We want to try to answer your questions, but we have another question. Can the liver recuperate from certain levels of damage?
It depends on what the damage is. Like, for instance, if it's an alcoholic and they have real bad cirrhosis, like
Mm-hmm.
there's really no coming back from that. So it really, I guess, depends on the insult or injury to the liver,
Mm-hmm.
and how extensive it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Angela has another. How can I ask my doctor to screen for other types of cancers that are not easily detected by routine screenings like breast, cervical, prostate, or colon cancer?
Well, Angela, you can ask your doctor to draw. There's blood levels. They're called, and like, called cancer markers, like for instance, a CA 125. They're blood tests that look for certain cancers in your body. So when you go to your primary care, say, if you don't mind, can you also add to my labs some markers, do some blood work for to identify cancers? And if they say, well, why? say because I want to know. I'm concerned,
Mm,
and I have
mhm,
a family history. It maybe if you have a family
mm,
history of breast cancer or colon cancer or whatever the case
mm,
may be, and say just for peace of mind, I'd
mm,
like to know. I mean, there's no harm in it. They're going to
mhm,
order blood work. They can add it to the labs. Like,
mhm.
your insurance is going to be billed for it. So, but
That's
also
a good one. I
have
like that,
we
Angela.
have to, but then I can also see from the other end, when we order stuff, there
Mhm.
has to be reasoning behind it. We
Okay.
can't just write an order willy-nilly because it has to be justified or
Okay.
else insurance is not going to pay for it. So,
Um.
Angela, you want to keep that in mind as well. Your primary may say, well, there is nothing that would warrant me to order these labs.
Mm,
To order these, when I have to justify why
mm.
I'm ordering them. Why am
Why
I
they?
ordering this? Have you been
Okay.
having blood in your stool and abdominal pain or bloody sputum or a cough that won't go away? We have to justify
Okay.
what we order. So
Makes
that
sense.
it's
Yeah,
like
makes
a
sense.
double-edged sword. It's kind of tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. Good question. Lisa's asking how often should you have a colonoscopy?
Well, that depends because we're looking at what the guidelines are from the American Cancer Society.
Mm,
But if you have a family history of colon cancer, they are saying like every 5 years. Otherwise, every 5 to 10. I say this:
mhm,
if your insurance will cover it, get it every 5 years. My
mm,
mother had colon cancer, so I'm at risk. So I
mm,
get a colonoscopy every 5 years.
mhm,
Right.
mm.
But for someone who doesn't have a risk, every 10 years may suffice. But again, if a
Yeah.
person for peace of mind and if it's justifiable and they can get it, I'd say, why
Mm,
not? Like
yeah.
they're trying to say, the literature was trying to say that women could start getting pap smears every 2 years. Not me. I want a
Ah.
pap smear every year because what if I go for an annual in June and then something wacky starts going on in July? By the time that 2 year time come around, it could have gotten out of control.
uh,
So I get my GYN, I get a pap smear annually. And
mhm,
that's just what I don't
mhm,
want to go to every
mhm. I wanted to put this up because this is something that you sent to me because oftentimes, we try to be our own medical diagnosis, our own doctor.
Mhm.
And you told me anytime you're Googling medical information, it is always should always be from a reputable site like the Mayo Clinic or the CDC.
Right. Or the American Heart Association, because anyone can put anything out on the
Mm-hmm.
internet. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for stuff, and I try to tell my patients, like, don't let Dr. Google tell you what to do.
You said Dr. Google.
Yes, Dr. Google, because
Yes.
they come in, they're all hyped up, they're anxious. Well, the internet said, well, Google said, no, this is what I'm saying.
Right.
So if you
Yes.
want information that's factual and accurate and relevant, then go to a reputable site.
Yeah.
Look, which you should still talk to your
Yeah.
primary. But
Yeah. Yeah.
society, we want to stay informed, but sometimes being informed it needs to come from your healthcare provider.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
we
not
want to have the
Google.
right sources and correct sources, and it
Right.
is easy because I'll go on Google for everything. But I do know, especially concerning me with my ostomy, I know like the sites that I know is reputable, and so I
Mhm.
think that's right. Everybody don't okay. You listening?
Yes.
Also, guys, I told you before, Renata, if you want to contact her after this interview tonight, which is it wasn't an interview, it was a great conversation. Okay. It was really,
Okay.
really informative, like information. You answered our questions. Thank you so much. So, but if you have any questions after we're done, this is her Facebook. Go on her Facebook and go DM her. Don't post it on her post. Don't just
Right.
send her a DM, okay? She ain't gonna answer you right away.
Yeah,
Busy
it
woman,
takes me a
listen.
minute sometimes, and I apologize, but I need to spend some time with Jimmy,
Yes.
my honey.
So, but she will respond, but give us some time. Like it may be some personal, something you want to ask her, you don't want to ask on here tonight, but send her a DM. She's gonna get back to you. Don't
Yes, I
worry,
will.
okay? But I thank you for being open, that they can, if they have any other information.
Sure, I don't mind.
So again, tonight we talked about cardiovascular health, diabetes, stress, preventive health, and the importance of checkup. And so this is really, really good tonight. It really, really was. I have not had a doctor, a nurse practitioner on Talk Tuesday. So listen, you might be coming back.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, she might be coming back. And because there's so much that we can talk about. And we just touched on a few topics tonight, but there's some other things. And we'll come back, guys. You come back too. And so we can talk to Dr. Renata Gilliard again. Again,
Yes,
thank you so much.
thank
Um,
you.
I always ask my guests, I always tell them to leave me something motivational, inspirational, leave us something medically that we can keep or we can um, give us some lasting words.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you some words that I say to myself every day.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Mm.
So you have to pour into yourself to be able to pour into other people. You have to
Others.
pour into you first.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I tell my students, I say it to someone besides myself every day.
Mm-hmm.
Do not measure your success using someone else's ruler.
Oh, now I'm writing this down. Can I get that
Yeah,
again, please?
do not measure your success
Mm-hmm.
using someone else's ruler.
Oh, oh, I like that.
Yes,
Listen,
I love that.
Listen, I believe God gives us all different gifts. Just for us, was for you, is for you, was for you, is for you. And
Exactly.
so, listen, I wrote mine down. You'll probably see them at my desk tomorrow on my sticky note because
Thank
that's another thing as far as like dealing with stress. I journal write, and I like to write sticky notes places
you.
I go a lot in the house, which is the refrigerator and the bathroom. So, just give me that reminder, and so I have to add these two.
Well, let me just give you one more that's kind of corny, but
I'm
put
going to
this on
take
your
it.
desk.
Yes. Everybody, come on now.
If you let them shenan once, they will shenan again. Like shenanigans.
Oh, you know what? I'm like, what is your name?
I told you it
Listen,
was corny.
that's
It's
okay.
cute.
It's corny, but I love it.
It's cute.
So it's so weird that like it's not weird, but like when you and I'm gonna read these again to myself, right? Until I get it for me,
Right.
right? You think these are just silly but they're not, and they could be life changing for somebody, and
Exactly.
so again, you'll see those sticky notes. They'll be at work posted on my computer.
Hmm.
But I want you to stick around, please, for a little bit. I'm gonna put you backstage again
Okay.
and I'm gonna come back on. So again, everybody,
Thanks,
again, this is
guys.
Dr. Renata Gilliard. We thank her so much for coming on Talk Tuesday. Thank you so much. It has
Thank
been
you.
wonderful, wonderful. So thank you again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Come on now, Dr. Renata. Wow, this was really, really awesome. And I'll probably see her Sunday at church, but this was awesome that she can come and give us some wisdom, some knowledge, some professional information tonight. And you all had questions. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you supporting Talk Tuesday, but also supporting Dr. Renata, and her expertise, because it was awesome tonight. So again, guys, I want to put again, this is her Facebook. So you can go on her Facebook, send her a DM. Don't post it on her page. Go to her DM and send her a message or question, or you just want to say something about tonight. You can, again, she'll get back to you. It might not be right away, but she will get back to you. And so, again, it has been a pleasure to have her on tonight. I do want to talk a little bit about our next Talk Tuesdays coming up, which is we got a couple more Tuesdays to go. And so, listen, on next Tuesday, our resident spiritual doctor will be in the house on next week. That is Dr. Shavanya Whitehead. This is our spiritual doctor. We call her Dr. Vaughn. But listen, again, when she talks, everyone listens. And so she will be on next week's Talk Tuesday. Y'all know, y'all have heard her before. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. So join us on next week, Talk Tuesday with Dr. Vaughn. And then to end out the month, we're going to have Takeover Tuesday. It's going to be Takeover Tuesday. We'll have a host and a co host. It will be Pastor Shawana Marshall and Pastor Patrice Fisher, with our two other guests, Candace and Shania. Listen, y'all you gotta tune in for this. This is gonna be deep. You might have to bring some tissues, okay? Because they're gonna talk about some topics, associated with shame, depression, guilt, loss, helplessness, hopelessness. It's gonna be off the hook. Bring your tissues, okay? And so that's Talk Tuesday Takeover. I'll be on here, but it will be run by our host and our co-host. So again, next week is Dr. Vaughn. And then we will have the ladies from the CALM Community Outreach Ministry. They're taking over Talk Tuesday. Again, bring your tissue because we're going to talk about it, okay? And just a quick reminder that we have this Friday, my Aunt Lois, her Mother's Day extravaganza that's going to be happening on this Friday at the Gala Center. Our special speaker is Serena Alford. She's my cousin, and I'm very, very excited to hear her talk on this Friday. We grew up together, and so that's going on this Friday. If you want to come, here's the information here. Tickets are $70. You get dinner, entertainment, and so much more. Yeah, okay. I've been going for the past years, and so it's really, really nice event to go to. So that's this Friday. Again, on next week, Dr. Vaughn, to end out our month of Talk Tuesday, is the ladies from the CALM. They will be joining us again. Dr. Renata. I just want to show that picture because it's so pretty. One of her graduations. And so again, we thank her for coming on tonight. Again, I am Geraldine. I am your host of Talk Tuesday. Again, if you would like to come on Talk Tuesday, if you want to share your journey, your testimony, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are author, you're a Christian on the move, you're welcome to come on Talk Tuesday. Send me a DM, okay? So listen, I'll see you on next week, Talk Tuesday. Have a good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you may be in this world. Again, thank you so much. I thank God for giving me the vision of Talk Tuesday. So that's it. Good night. Peace.